Have you ever attended a funeral or a celebration of life and walked away thinking about your own life? Recently, I attended a celebration of life for a friend who passed away from cancer. Even now, I find myself thinking about her. Not only because she is gone, but because of something I witnessed that day. It made me question something many of us were taught growing up. Family is the most important thing in life. But what exactly is family? And does family always mean blood relatives? Let me tell you about my friend. To protect her privacy, let's call her Helen. I only knew Helen for a little over 3 years. Compared to lifelong friendships, that's not a very long time. But sometimes, time isn't what determines the depth of a connection. Helen and I shared similar family experiences. We had many conversations about relationships, disappointments, forgiveness, and the complicated emotions that can exist within families. Over the years, I came to know a side of her that many people never saw. One thing Helen wanted deeply during the last years of her life was to reconnect with her family, especially 2 of her brothers. As people get older, many begin to reflect on what really matters. For Helen, family mattered. She wanted to rebuild bridges, heal old wounds, and have another chance. But life doesn't always give us the ending we hope for. For reasons I won't speculate about, her brothers had chosen to cut off contact with her. Not only was Helen unable to reconnect with them, but she was also prevented from seeing her nieces and nephews, whom she cared about very much. I remember how much this hurt her. Then, in 2022, everything changed. Helen was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer. When people receive news like that, priorities often become crystal clear. The arguments that once seemed important suddenly feel small. The things we postponed suddenly feel urgent. After her diagnosis, Helen tried again and again to reach out to her brothers. She hoped that maybe this time things would be different. Maybe they could talk, reconcile, or simply spend some time together before it was too late. But as far as I know, that never happened. I still remember one conversation with her. She looked disappointed and heartbroken, and she simply said, "They are so cold." There was no anger in her voice, just sadness. The kind of sadness that comes from wanting something deeply and realizing you may never have it. Eventually, Helen lost her battle with cancer, and recently I attended her celebration of life. Like many memorial services, people were invited to share memories and stories about her. One of Helen's brothers spoke first. His speech was very short, very brief. And while I don't want to judge anybody's grief, I couldn't help noticing something. It felt distant, as if he didn't really know much about who Helen had become. There wasn't much warmth or emotion. The speech lasted for less than a minute. Then her friends began speaking, and everything changed. One by one, they shared stories about kindness, friendship, laughter, and the different times they had gone through together. Some had tears in their eyes, some struggled to get through their words. Their voices shook. And as they spoke, something became very clear. These people loved Helen deeply. Not because they shared DNA or had the same last name, not because they were obligated to, but because they had built genuine relationships with her. They had chosen each other. In that room, I realized something. The people who knew Helen best were not necessarily the people she was related to. The people who carried her in their hearts were the people who had walked beside her through life, the people who answered her phone calls, who listened and showed up, and who stayed. That realization stayed with me long after the event ended. Growing up, many of us hear the same message: family comes first. Family is forever. Blood is thicker than water. Ideally, that's true. Many people are fortunate enough to have loving families that support them throughout their lives, but not everyone has that experience. Some people find understanding from friends rather than relatives. Some find acceptance outside their family. Some find the love they were searching for in people who aren't related to them at all. And that's okay. Sometimes society places so much emphasis on biological family that we overlook something important. Relationships are built on more than blood. They are built on trust, respect, care, support, and love. Without those things, a family connection may exist biologically, but feel empty emotionally. Meanwhile, someone who shares none of your DNA can become one of the most important people in your life. When I think about Helen now, I don't think about the relatives who kept their distance. I think about the friends who stood up at her celebration of life. The tears in their eyes, the stories they told, and the love that filled that room. There was a quote from the TV show, The Fosters, that came to mind while I was reflecting on all of this. Blood doesn't make family, love does. The older I get, the more truth I find in those words. Family can be the people who raised you and share your last name, but family can also be the people who stand beside you when life gets hard. The people who celebrate your victories, answer your calls, show up when everyone else disappears. Maybe family isn't defined by who you are born to. Maybe it's defined by who chooses to love you and who you choose to love in return. Helen's story reminded me of that. Life is short, far shorter than we often realize. If there are people in your life who truly care about you, cherish them. Whether they are relatives, friends, neighbors, mentors, or someone you met only a few years ago. Because in the end, what matters most may not be the family we were born into, but the family we build. Thank you for listening, and I would love to hear your thoughts. Do you believe family is defined by blood or by love? Let me know in the comments below. I will see you in the next one. Bye.